Freddie had said Lamar put this franchise on the map nationally once and for all. All the haters will realize it was the right move. Is he talking about Lamar Jackson to the Detroit Lions? Because there's no way in God's green earth that's going to happen. It's not worth it. We went through the numbers yesterday about Lamar Jackson, and if you asked me 3 months ago, I was a little bit intrigued by Lamar Jackson and what that might entail for Lamar to be here in Detroit. On Monday, the debate was reignited, and yesterday, Coach Campbell was asked about it. The NFL owners meetings in Arizona. Coaches are there, GMs are there, owners are there, everybody's there. And he said, quote, "Look, Lamar is a heck of a talent. Trying to defend that guy has been something else. We played him 2 years ago, but man, we got a quarterback." So I'm like, we got a quarterback, and thank God we got one. So we're good. But man, he's a heck of a talent. That's it. I don't know what else you need to hear. Brad Holmes had said, quote, "I think we are in a unique position with all the picks that we have to maybe add a pretty talented guy if we go that direction. But again, it doesn't have to be in the first round, doesn't have to be in the second round. It can be at any point. I just feel like we're in a good place right now." They know this team is going to go as Jared Goff goes. They saw what I think that all of us saw last year with Jared Goff was some exceptional quarterback play. I know if I say play great, everybody gets their panties in a bunch. And we don't want to upset anybody here on a Wednesday in the middle of the week. But there is under no circumstance should the Detroit Lions even think about tinkering now with Lamar Jackson. Because as the non-exclusive franchise tag has been offered, and I feel like I'm repeating this every day, but just so you know, if you want to sign the guy, you got to forfeit 2 draft picks. You send not only 2 draft picks, 2 first-round draft picks. You send 2 of those to the Baltimore Ravens and then get a guy who can't complete a whole season because he can't stay healthy because the style of play does not allow him to stay healthy. And you got to pay him at least $32 million a year.
What's the value of pick 32 in the draft, Anthony?
Oh, not going to happen. Because you're going to have to play Nate Sudfeld or whoever else you draft because he's not going to finish out the season. He never has. He's never going to. Like I'm going to use this for an example. I was talking to John Wagner earlier in the week, and we were giggling about something that we're going to talk about here a little bit later on. And it was because he was really right. And I said, look, when you're right, you gotta puff your chest up a little bit here. I say, we're on the radio a lot, and it's 3 hours every day. We're gonna have some swings, we're gonna have some misses, but we gotta hit a pretty high percentage here. We gotta shoot a pretty good percentage from the field. On whatever our angle is, individually, the 3 of us, or as a unit, as a show, we gotta hit a high percentage. And if no one at home is keeping track of how many you got right and how many got wrong, but it is important because I'm not a big throw a bunch of stuff at the wall and see what sticks, because if I say, oh, the Lions got to trade for Lamar Jackson, it generates phone calls. I don't care about that. That's not how I operate. I'll give you a really clear case in point. Ben Simmons. There was an outcry from a very small group of individuals out on the Twitter sphere about how Ben Simmons needed to be added to the Pistons lineup. The Pistons should go get Ben Simmons. The Pistons can't shoot the ball from 3, in case you don't watch. They can't shoot. They're not a good shooting team. Like, they're one of the worst in the league. And you're telling me that you want to add an individual that literally cannot shoot. It doesn't make any sense. The Brooklyn Nets have shut Ben Simmons down for the rest of the season. Ben will not be joining us the rest of the year and through the playoffs. After consulting with our doctors, multiple specialists, he's just going to begin his rehab. Our doctors and the specialists feel and think he'll have a full recovery. So that starts now. Simmons hasn't played a game since the Nets' final home game before the All-Star break because of allegedly a nerve issue in his back.
Ben Simmons is living the American dream.
Ben Simmons is sitting at home collecting unemployment. Like, that's what he's doing. He's getting paid more and working less. Like, it's absolutely one of the biggest failures in NBA history. Flat out point blank period. I don't want him anywhere near this team. Lamar Jackson has not, I know he was an MVP. I also know it was 4 years ago. Get over it. That was then, this is now. Everybody keeps going back to MVP, and I bring up all the statistics from Jared Goff having a great season last year. Like, you can't call that great. Really? Where was Lamar Jackson? Where was he at? Because my guy was fighting for our team to get in the playoffs. What was your guy doing? Sitting on the bench? On the sideline? Wasn't even available? Interesting. USDA Scott is on hold. Good morning, Scott. Happy hump day.
Do you remember that movie with Kevin Costner, Draft Day?
Never watched it.
You never watched it?
No, I don't really like sports movies, to be honest with you.
This one wasn't so much a sports movie, but anyway, the whole premise went around the all stud, all star, all super everything, can't miss generational quarterback that was in the draft, and Kevin Costner passed on him, and he just kept falling like a rock in the draft, and they just kept saying all the other owners were calling saying, "What's wrong with this guy? What? And he said, and this is the same with Lamar. Who's running after Lamar? I don't see people running after Lamar.
Nobody is. And the market, he said that Baltimore undervalued him. And it's like, Baltimore didn't undervalue. They offer you the franchise tag, and they say it's non-exclusive. So if somebody else wants to offer you a deal, that's fine, but we're going to get compensated for it. And guess what the rest of the league did? They stood around.
Kevin Costner said, I know the adage. He's won everywhere he's been. But he said, for me, it's a character thing. And somebody else must know that. I mean, there must be other people who know that. I mean, you're in some of those locker rooms. The coaches talk. People know things. So what do? We bring him on, and we can't get rid of Goff, and we got $60 million into two quarterbacks? Come on.
No.
That's beyond dumb.
No, it's preposterous. Scott, good to hear from you, my friend. Safe travels to you. The Lamar thing, I mean, and everybody goes, MVP in his second year, he had a quarterback rating of 83. That quarterback rating dropped all the way to 50.7 in 2021, and it was 59.1 last year. Like 30-point drop. I'm not under any I'm not taking Lamar Jackson. I know it because what Lamar Jackson is the shiny toy. And we've finally gotten away from that. We finally have reason to believe in our front office, and people still want Lamar Jackson on this team. Our front office could have went and gone after Jalen Ramsey because he's the big name. He's the shiny toy. It's like, oh, God, we got to have it. Well, what happens? I don't know about you guys, right? But let's say there's something that you thought you really wanted, right? A material item. Could be anything. And then you get it, and you get kind of excited, and then the next day, like, it's not that you're not excited that you don't have whatever that might be, but maybe you feel the same. Like some people say retail therapy. I'm not a real believer in that because I'm a believer in financial responsibility. But going out and buying something isn't going to make you feel better. Going out and getting a big-name player on a ridiculous contract, and in this regard, forfeiting 2 first-round draft picks is absolutely asinine. That is insanity. No one in their right mind should do that, and that's why no one in their right mind is doing that. And finally, if the Jalen Ramsey, no movement here whatsoever, if that didn't tip you off that this front office, general manager, scouting staff, the entire team up there in the building, we have adults in the room. We don't have those folks that are emotionally attached to God knows what, making whatever decision that's going to spiral this out of control because, you always hear fans talk about like, oh, well, get this guy and that'll put some butts in seats. That'll sell some merchandise. You know what sells some merchandise? Winning. That's what sells merchandise. Winning. Winning is more important than Russell Westbrook and Ben Simmons. It's more important than Lamar Jackson. It's more important than any big name floating around out there. Win. If you want to have success, if you want to, and I'm talking about business success for your franchise, You want to sell tickets? You want to sell jerseys? You want to sell merchandise and concessions? Win. That's how you do it. If you win, they will come. Just like if you build it, they will come. Same principles here. And it happens at every level of sport. If you can develop a winner, you'll watch attendance grow. As the team wins, as will the interest in the fan base. Because nobody wants to go watch a loser. Picking Lamar Jackson to be your quarterback, having to trade Jared Goff because you're not going to be carrying a $60 million tab per season in the quarterback room. That's just preposterous. In sacrificing 2 first-round picks, if you want that, and that's fine if you do, but I'm going to have to ask you to seek immediate medical attention. This is like you pop the blue pill and something's happening for too long. Like you need help, because that's preposterous. They didn't go after Jalen Ramsey, and it made perfect sense that they didn't go after Jalen Ramsey. He was the big name. Oh, you got to have him. Why aren't we doing this? We have the cap space. I argued for 3 days over that. 3 days about Jalen Ramsey. I said, dude, they're not doing that. We have the space to get him. Is that what you want? You want to get him in a bag of apples? That's it? No. What they've been able to do is they have been able to re-sign Isaiah Buggs. What they've been able to do is re-sign John Kaminsky and sign Emmanuel Mosley to a 1-year deal. David Montgomery, Cameron Sutton, Graham Glasgow. Like the adults in the room are making the right choices.